Putin facing turmoil as Russian economy takes catastrophic £46 billion blow in a single month. Well, Russia's critics do have a right to laugh at the current state of the economy. But in this video, we will take a closer look and deeper details at how things ended up how they are right now for Russia. Please make sure to subscribe and like the video below. So, let's get started. Russia's achieved an unwanted economic record in December as Moscow was forced to borrow $46 billion in 1 month. This comes as the country continues to grapple with Western sanctions. But stick to the end to find out what Putin himself has to say about this. Russia's oil revenues have dropped and Putin's military continues to suffer logistical issues in Ukraine. The Kremlin's finance minister Anton Siluanov confirmed this deficit, which equates to roughly 2.3% of Russian GDP, gross domestic product. This also means that Russia's spending is more than 30% higher than had been forecast at the start of 2022. Russia had aimed to keep its spending surplus at no higher than 1%. Despite growing output, Russian oil profits decreased in November. According to the International Energy Agency, Russia made just under £13 billion that month from oil sales, the second lowest amount of 2022 after £12.2 billion in September. Around 40% of the gas used in the European Union was supplied from Russia before the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February. Nevertheless, the group and its Western allies have sought to lessen their reliance on Russian gas while simultaneously imposing harsh penalties on Putin. The IEA now forecasts that in 2023, Russia's oil production would decline by 1.4 million barrels per day. While decreased oil prices are a great comfort for consumers who are struggling with rising inflation, the entire effect of embargoes on Russian crude and product supply is still unknown. They continue. The Kremlin has already begun to cut back on or postpone non-war spending, according to the Telegraph. The nation has recently been forced to take on significant debt. Putin was bullish last month as he claimed that there will be no limitations to his military expenditures, despite the uncertain economic picture for Russia. "We don't have any financial restrictions," he declared. "Everything that the army requests is being provided by the nation and the administration." Putin also expressed confidence in the certain accomplishment of Russia's objectives in Ukraine. He made comparisons between Russia's invasion of Ukraine and its involvement in World Wars I and II, as well as Moscow's conflict with Napoleon's French armies in 1812. Putin spoke with defiance, although there have been several setbacks for the Russian military during the fight. The most recent of several important battlegrounds has been established in the eastern city of Donetsk at Soledar. Yevgeny Prigozhin, a supporter of Putin, said that his military contractors, the Wagner Group, had seized control of the town. But what really happened with Russia's economy in 2022? Many analysts and observers had predicted that the Ukraine war and a barrage of Western sanctions would cause the Russian economy to collapse, but up until 2022, the nation has shown amazing resilience. President Vladimir Putin expected a decline of 2.5%, whereas the head of the Russian central bank forecasted a contraction of merely 3% in 2022. According to economist Janis Kluge of the German Institute for International and Security Affairs, STOP, the Russian economy will still exist in 2022. However, because the penalties are still in effect, we cannot yet claim that they were successful. Behind the ostensibly encouraging year-end data, economists like Kluge caution, there are many indications of more difficult times to come. And even the GDP numbers are not as rosy as they might appear. The inclusion of sanctions-free January and February into GDP figures creates a misleading image of Russia's real economic losses. In a recent YouTube Live, moderated by a Russian journalist, stated that even a contraction of 3% is a colossal recession, considering that all world economies were supposed to rise by 3% or 4% following the coronavirus outbreak. Before the conflict, according to Kluge, it was anticipated that Russia's GDP would expand by up to 4% from February to December. In contrast, it has fallen 6% throughout that time. According to him, this indicates that Western sanctions essentially shrank Russia's GDP by 10%. In contrast, during the world economic crisis of 2009, Russian GDP fell by 7.8%. Despite the significant economic losses, analysts can't agree on how Russia was able to avert a more severe recession. Many doomsday predictions for Russia's economy were based on assumptions that the country would face a banking crisis, according to economists interviewed by media outlet Meduza. No banking crisis, however, emerged. The Russian economy has also been buoyed by record energy export revenues as prices for commodities, including oil and gas, shot up in the wake of the invasion,